She never trailed. Not for a stride, not for a length, not once in 10 races. They called her the greatest filly American racing had ever produced, the one who left a new track record behind her in every stakes race she ran. Yet the very thing that made her unbeatable was, from the day she was born, quietly building the thing that would end her. What kills a horse who never loses? The answer was written into her body long before Belmont Park, in July of 1975, and it would take 2 shattered bones and a watching nation to read it. The story begins not at a racetrack, but on a breeding farm in Kentucky 3 years earlier. She was foaled on the 17th of April, 1972, at Claiborne Farm in Kentucky, sired by Reviewer out of a mare named Shenanigans. Stuart and Barbara Janney bred her themselves at Locust Hill Farm in Maryland. No auction ring, no sales book photograph, just a foal raised on their own grass. As a yearling, she weighed 890 pounds, already too big for comfort, with a stride so long that grooms said she seemed to hang in the air between one hoofbeat and the next. Her trainer was Frank Whiteley Jr., a man who said little and trusted less, and he did not rush her. She broke her maiden by 15 lengths, the kind of number that makes hardened clockers stop mid-sentence. What no one said out loud, not yet, was the obvious arithmetic. A horse built that large, that long-strided, was carrying more weight and more force through the same 4 ankles as any ordinary filly. Speed was not free. Someone, eventually, was going to have to pay for it. At Belmont, in the Fashion Stakes, she equaled the track record for 5.5 furlongs, stopping the clock in 1 minute and 3 seconds. She won the Astoria by 9 lengths. Then came the Sorority Stakes, a new stakes record of 1 minute 9 for 6 furlongs, and she ran it, though almost no one outside her barn knew this at the time, on a leg with a freshly popped splint. She won anyway, by 2.25 lengths, on a leg that was already telling her something, and nobody was listening because the clock said what the clock always said about her: faster. The 5th race of her life was the Spinaway. She won that one too, by 12.75 lengths. But a few strides before the wire, deep inside a body running harder than any 2-year-old filly had ever been asked to run, something in her right hind ankle cracked. A veterinarian named James Prendergast found the hairline fracture. Her season ended there, in the moment of a win, not a loss. She had never lost. She had only, very quietly, started to break. She healed. Horses do, given enough time and enough patience, and Whiteley gave her both. She returned in the spring of 1975 and won an allowance race at Aqueduct, as if the broken ankle had belonged to someone else. Then she swept New York's Triple Tiara, the Acorn, the Mother Goose, the coaching club American Oaks. 3 races, 3 victories, 10 wins now in 10 starts, and at every single point of call in every one of those 10 races, she had been in front. Not caught up, not passed, in front, from the break to the wire, every time. There was, at this point, no filly left in America who could be said to test her. The generation had nothing left to offer. So the sport did what the sport does when a horse runs out of competition. It built her a new one. A match race, they called it. Ruffian against Foolish Pleasure, that year's Kentucky Derby winner. A colt against the fastest filly anyone had ever timed. Belmont Park, the 6th of July. The whole country, it turned out, wanted to watch. More than 50,000 people came to Belmont Park that afternoon, and something like 20 million more watched on television, a number no filly's race had ever pulled before and has not matched since. The gates opened. Ruffian broke a nose in front and never gave it back. The first quarter went in 22 1/5 seconds. The half went in 44 3/5. It was, both jockeys would say later, a pace that had no business being carried by anything on 4 legs. Past the half-mile pole, she was still in front, by half a length now, comfortable, exactly where she had been in every one of her 10 races before this one. Then, she switched leads. It is the smallest of motions, a shift of leg beneath a running horse, something she had done 10,000 times without incident. Both jockeys heard the crack. Both sesamoid bones in her right foreleg, the small bones that anchor the ankle to the ground, had shattered at once. She did not stop. 1,125 pounds of momentum carried her forward another 40 yards on a leg that no longer had a working joint beneath it, grinding what remained of the ankle into the track with every stride her body would not let her skip. Jacinto Vasquez stood up in the irons and pulled with everything he had. It was, by every account, already too late for the leg. What no one yet knew was that it might already be too late for her. Surgeons worked through the night to save the leg, fitting a cast over bones that had no business holding a fence post upright, let alone 1,100 pounds of thoroughbred. The operation, by the measure of what was possible in 1975, went as well as it could have gone. Then she woke up. The same instinct that had carried her wire to wire in 10 races and never once let a rival draw level would not let her lie still in a recovery stall. She fought the anesthesia the way she had fought every length of ground she had ever covered, and in fighting it, she tore the cast and the repair beneath it apart. There was, after that, no second surgery to offer her. The doctors who had spent the night trying to save her explained, as gently as the facts allowed, that there was no path left that did not end in more pain and less hope. At 20 minutes past 2 in the morning, on the 7th of July, 1975, Ruffian was euthanized. The sport's greatest filly, undefeated in every race she had ever finished, had been beaten in the end by nothing that wore silks. So what killed Ruffian was never really the lead change, and it was never really the bird some in the crowd swore they saw flush from the infield grass. Whether it was the bloodline, those same fragile ankles that had haunted her sire's family for generations, or the stride too long for the bone beneath it, or simply a bad step at the worst possible moment, nobody who was there that day can say with certainty. Here is what is certain. The speed that filled her name into the record book, race after race, and the speed that killed her were never two different things. They were the same thing, wearing two different names. They buried her that evening in the Belmont Park infield. Her body turned, so the story goes, with her nose toward the finish line she never officially reached. She was named champion. She was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and in 2023, 48 years later, she went home again, to the Kentucky ground where she was foaled, the only lead she ever surrendered. Was Ruffian's greatness the reason she died? Or is that just the story we tell, to make an accident feel like it meant something? Share your thoughts below. Thanks for watching.